John.
This is O.
And this is Kaya. Welcome to the first installment of the Tsk Podcast, where we talk about news, games, and all the things you care about. So guys, Halloween is upon us. Very, very close. 3 days away, at least from when we're airing this podcast, or recording this podcast. Are you guys having any special plans? Are you dressing up? Do you know of any funny stories, or just funny people that are in Halloween?
Well, are you gonna dress up this year, Kaya?
Whoa, way to deflect the question.
Well, are you gonna dress up? Because, I don't want to be the only one.
Obviously, Zeus has, some sort of, lightning shield. Right back at you.
Well, to answer your question, Zeus, I think that people our age only dress up if we're going to go to a party or some sort of gathering or for work. And in my case, I'm going to dress up like a doctor for work. I got some scrubs together. I'm going to borrow my mother's pink stethoscope and go to town with that bad boy.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you want to go to town with that bad boy.
Okay, maybe I don't want to go to town with the pink stuff.
Right,
Hi, John. All right, John.
Hey.
What are you doing for Halloween?
I'm probably going to smash some pumpkins, scare some kids.
Are you going to any parties, John, and can I come?
I might go too. And yes, you can come.
Because I wanted to do that costume idea where you're Thor.
Uh-oh.
And I will be Mjolnir.
No. This is not something we talk about in just a second. You explain this idea.
For those people who don't know what Mjolnir is, can you explain this to us?
Okay, Mjolnir is Thor's hammer. The weapon of thunder. Okay.
Alright, go ahead. Just explain this one.
Okay, so John's gonna dress up as Thor, and I am going to be Mjolnir. Basically, Mjolnir can't really be, dressed up as, because it's a hammer. So I am just gonna be dressed up in a black jumpsuit, black tights, just covered in black, with a black face mask. And I'm gonna be carrying around John's hammer, Mjolnir. So basically, John can control me, and it'll be like the hammer is floating in the darkness.
It's not like I wanted to meet any women or anything.
Exactly. Now, Mjolnir...
Have you not seen the previous Chicks Love Thor, obviously.
Boom.
No.
They love his hammer. I'm gonna be your hammer,
And
John.
by chicks, I mean young ladies. I'm sorry.
No, Zeus will be there. They won't even know.
It'll be like, Mjolnir, come. I'll just be in my car. I'll come out and I'll just, what's that? You feel that? And all of a sudden the hammer would be flying through there and be like, whoa.
I'm texting my hammer.
Your ass over your phone and be like, my turn, here it goes.
That may be one of the best Halloween ideas ever. Oh, man. So, another topic we have this week, and it's something that's come up over the years, but I think it's something we can take a look at right now, and it's about the company named Viacom. So, Viacom, really quick, guys, do you know what Viacom is?
I'm Googling now.
Don't Google! Top of your head.
Viacom
Does it sound familiar?
It's super familiar. I think they own everything in the world. That's one thing. But yeah, all I know is, just give me a quick rundown, they own a lot of shit. They do. I think media-wise, they own almost everything.
Well, at one point that was true, and they still own quite a bit. But the four main, at least in TV terms, things that they own are MTV, Nickelodeon, BET, and Comedy Central. And at one point, Viacom owned CBS. But here's a couple things about it. The company, a quick rundown. Viacom bought Blockbuster in 1995. Blockbuster declares bankruptcy in 2010. They buy CBS in 2000, sell it in 2005 for less than they paid for. And right now, even though their ratings are at an almost all-time low, and their advertising is actually low, their affiliates, which are the shows that they put on their stations, are paying premiums, and they're still making a profit. So, past, present, and future, MTV, Nickelodeon, CBS, BT, and Comedy Central. Thoughts?
Well, honestly, I don't pay cable anymore, so I don't even watch TV. So I have no thoughts on cable, and I think TV is overrated, and you can just watch anything online.
Well, here's why I bring it up. There was an article in the Huffington Post where they compared MTV Now, because MTV just turned 38. And so what they insinuated is that MTV Now and some of these other stations are like a 38-year-old trying to talk to a teenager, trying to talk to a tween.
Oh, okay.
And they're not as in touch with people as they used to be. Same thing with Nickelodeon,
Well,
BET, Comedy Central. But is it strange that the age of a company affects its ability to relate to people? Because, I mean, Nickelodeon had amazing programs when I was a kid. 90s, and it wasn't just the cartoons. It wasn't just, like, Rugrats and that kind of stuff. You had, like, actual kids doing, like, obstacle courses, quiz shows. Mm-hmm. There was slime. There was all kinds of stuff. Legends of the Hidden Temple, I remember that.
That was awesome, yeah.
So, I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, do you think it's the company's growing into, like, it's an ageist thing? Is it the times? I mean, is it the programs?
Well, I've lived with my 10-year-old brother for 10 years now. I watched him watch Nickelodeon, and I watched Nickelodeon when I was smaller, so I think they're actually doing an alright job as far as Nickelodeon is in catching up with the times. They are coming out with programming that's much different than when I was younger, in terms of they have more live programming, like iCarly, the new Sam and Cat show, just the live programming, less cartoon things, more live action programming, which I think is where the world is going now.
I think my biggest problem, and I don't know if I can blame Viacom for this, but what happened to MTV? I think that's where I think when they're talking about out of touch with the audience, MTV is like the worst offender.
Yeah, I mean, I believe, let me get some statistics here. I believe that in the last few years, there's been 3 main shows or events that really boost MTV's ratings for section. One is the MTV Music Awards. Mm-hmm. Which I guess we had the Miley Cyrus incident recently, so that got him huge ratings. There was Jersey Shore.
Oh my god! See, that's our problem right there.
But there's a pattern here. At least when we mention things like that comes to me, is we're talking about more live programming on Nickelodeon. Well, we're talking about non-stop live programming on MTV.
Yeah,
BET.
We need too much reality TV.
I mean, at some point,
that's where
is
it's
it
going,
too much?
Though.
That's way too much.
But their ratings are down. I mean, the program is going that way, but the ratings are down. People are watching other things.
The ratings are down because of, I feel, the internet and just that accessibility that the internet brings. It's just, you can watch anything you would really want on another medium that's not cable. I think that's where, like, the main ratings are going down. I mean, they'll have programming that people will watch. It's just, they can also watch it elsewhere.
Do people still talk about music on MTV? I'm serious. It's music television, right?
To be honest, I haven't watched MTV in years. So, I mean, I don't know. I just assume that that's true. Assume that, like, hospital food is bad. I just assume that MTV doesn't have music anymore. But, I mean, that's kind of where it is. But going back to what you said, Zos, there is the internet, there is accessibility. And I mean, in my terms of watching TV, because I'm kind of like John, I only watch, like, ESPN or the news or whatnot. But when I watch shows, I watch shows on cable networks like HBO, Showtime, Stars, or, if I go back to regular stations like the 1 through 77-ish, I watch AMC, so I'll watch me some Walking Dead or something like that. And, that's kind of, I think people are leaving these natural outlets, these formerly popular mainstream, stations, and they're going to these other media outlets because these people are making quality programming. And these aren't live action. These are Game of Thrones, Boardwalk Empire, all these different, I keep saying but these are programs. Even BBC programs are becoming a lot more popular. Like Doctor Who is mainstream now in America. Sherlock is amazing.
Well, maybe that's the thing, is what did people really watch back in those days? Mm-hmm. Like, what were the hot shows? Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's popular,
but see,
like,
people would argue Buffy's an amazing show. I've only watched a little Buffy, but yeah, that's true.
It's like a cult show, but, like, compared to the things we have today, I can't...
Buffy the Vampire Slayer was Twilight before Twilight.
Well, it's just, there's no comparison. The quality of today's shows are just much higher. I'm sorry, I might be biased, but... It's much higher than they had 30 years ago, and that's when Viacom was the strongest. So, no, you're right. They didn't really keep up in terms of the quality of the programming compared to, like, things like HBO, things like AMC. They don't have those kind of big shows that people will, sit down and just watch on MTV anymore, at least.
Yeah, because, I mean, now you have shows, after shows about shows, like the Talking Dead, or you have people on Game of Thrones on Twitter all night long. You have this anticipation like it's an event, like it's going to the movies, which I guess, HBO is supposed to be home box movies. All these people are making miniseries and short series to fill that void, to fill that content barrier. And I don't know. Maybe it is the programming. Maybe it's how, HBO can push the limits. Maybe it's the sex. Maybe it's the violence. Hard to know. Any parting thoughts here? Do you think this trend will continue? Viacom will still make more money, but their programming will go down? Or do you think there'll be a radical change?
Yes. If they can make money with how they're doing, they're not going to change anything.
And
Probably made less money over time.
They've made more. They've constantly grown, but their ratings have constantly gone down, and their advertising buys have constantly gone down.
Because once you find out how to make more money with doing less, you're going to stay with that system.
Yeah?
It's hard to say, but yeah, I think they'll be just fine. I think they'll be just fine.
I should walk off into the
super rich
sunset.
Viacom company was gonna be okay. But Viacom has brought us quality programming over the years, so we can't default on them that. I think we just expect more from Viacom, and they're in a different generation. I guess it's easier to pay people for reality shows than it is to, create something new. We'll leave it at that, and we'll move on to our next topic. We've reached the games portion of our show, very, very important portion, where we tell you the games that we're playing and whether you should be playing them too. Start off with a new game that's been released, I want to say, over this last week. Pokemon X and Y. Is it worth it?
Yes. Next topic.
But here's the question, though. Is it about nostalgia, or is it about the new content? Well, approach this from two ways. Say that, and this is my portion, because I used to play Pokemon. I used to play Red and Gold and Silver and Crystal, and then I stopped. After it went off the Game Boy Advance, I stopped playing. Is there an incentive for me to play this game?
It depends. Did you ever get into competitive play?
I did not.
See, that's kind of like what people in our age group are into when they play Pokemon.
Well, they could be.
They're not in it
for nostalgia.
Oh yeah, you play the game for like nostalgia, and you're like, yeah, okay, but you're not playing it for that. Like, that's not where you're done. All right, I beat the game. I beat the Elite Four. I'm done. And you're not like collecting all 700 bajillion Pokemon. You're
right.
You're training your Pokemon to the best stat that they can be, the right mood, the right abilities, so you can beat the shit out of 12-year-old kids across the world.
So I mean, this is new to me because I want to learn about X and Y. I have known nothing about Pokemon X, Y. So you're saying there's a competitive thing. There's like an online forum where you can take your team and compete. That's what
it's all about. That's the meta game.
No, I agree with you that it's very satisfying beating up kids with your epic team. You're right. That is a plus that I did not think of. But I'm going to do that now.
But is that all? I mean, I'm not saying is that all.
Well, at our age,
But is that the goal? Is that the goal?
At our age, it's just a kid's game, and if you want to, if you want to play,
keep in mind we're in our early 20s.
There's two things that would make you play this game as a 20-something-year-old man: nostalgia, if you played it earlier, or what John touched upon, beating 12-year-old kids with your epic team.
This generation in battling, it's way better for new players or people who weren't so much into casual gaming. Who were playing Pokemon casually, to get into the competitive side of it, because they made it super easy to like EV train.
You're right.
Which is, yeah. So, I mean, that was something that like only the hardcore people did, and now you can just do it by like tapping your DS.
It's more mainstream now. They made the competitive scene more mainstream for the first time in how many years? It is much easier to get into that Pokemon battling hardcore scene with Pokemon X and Y, and that'll bring a lot more older players back into the fray, but of course nostalgia will still be like the main reason why you would want to play X and Y. Don't you want a Mega Evolve Charizard game? I mean, wasn't that your dream?
No, I'm sorry. I enjoyed Pokemon in my youth. I don't think it'll bring me back. But I respect the people that play Pokemon now. I understand that they like it. And I had no idea there was a competitive aspect to it. I thought everyone was just catching Pokemon and training them for fun. I mean, I don't know.
You train them to destroy your opponents.
I grew up in the Game Boy age where in order to play somebody else, you had to get the link cable out.
What the fuck?
You're gonna beat the shit out of your team.
Wow. You guys realize that in this moment you just made our podcast like R-rated with your profanity?
You can leave that, goddamn.
No, who cares?
Wow.
Yeah, it's for 22-year-olds. Fuck you.
Wow. No, Kea, you can't think of this as a professional thing. I think that's what's gonna lose people.
Whoa. People, you tell us, alright? You email us at tskpodcast@gmail.com, and you let us know. I'm going to say the vote to play this game is 2-1. So, the TSK Podcast says play Pokemon X and Y. With that, let's move into the last segment of the games. Something that I know very little about, so I'm going to need you guys to educate me. All I know is that the PS4 comes out on November 15th. Now...
Holy shit, it does.
November 15th. It's very close. What's that all about? Is it just kind of like how they made another small Xbox, PS3 to a PS2? I don't know. I never thought those leaps were very big. I'm a big PC guy. Sell me the PS4.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a PC guy myself, but I'm also a console guy. I can't seem to let go. Because there are the releases that only come out on the PS3 or 4 or whatever, and Steam doesn't have everything. Like, a lot of my favorite games on the PS2, you can't, like, go back and revisit them on Steam. Because I own them. That's how I can replay them ever again. So, when you get, like, a PS4, and there's gonna be, like, the new Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts 3, there's gonna be Watch Dogs, all PS3 exclusives.
Console exclusives.
I mean, PS4 exclusive.
As for the PS4, I've been going back and forth between the PC and, console gaming. I'm actually leaning toward console gaming more than PC at this point of, my life for some reason. Steam,
well, that's not a good way to back it up.
It's just, Steam is, although their library is huge and powerful and they have so many, developers backing them up, it's something about a console it just feels, I don't know, nostalgic. For gaming with me now, it's just, I want to relax, right? If I get up on a PC, it just feels so not relaxing to me. Like, I want to play to relax and have fun. When I get on PC, it doesn't feel like that for me that much anymore.
And why do you think that is, Zeus? Could it be perhaps the excruciating training that we went through being professional gamers for League of Legends? Could it be the 12-hour days?
That's for another time. But
yes.
It just...
Guys, too much lore for the first episode.
It's partly that, but it's just Steam. It just seems like the library is strong enough to where I thought I could have enough fun with it. It's just, I don't like any of the games. I miss classic PlayStation games, and that's why I really want to get a PS4 in the next, upcoming couple of months. It's just, I want to go back to a relaxing time as a kid, just sitting down playing a Final Fantasy game. And you can't get that from Steam.
Well, I was just going to say, when you brought that up, it did bring up one thing for me, and it's the reason I sort of just said, screw console gaming.
Boom.
And it's nothing to do with specs. It's nothing to do with the communities. It has one very specific reason. In Madden, there is no fantasy draft. Okay? And when Madden... It's a football game for those of you who don't play Madden. When Madden took out its fantasy draft, I said, forget it. I'm done. So if in the PS4 version, or the new Xbox version, they bring back fantasy draft, I will buy that console. How much is it? Like $500? $400? $400 console. And the $60 game that comes along with it, just to play Fantasy Draft. So, there you go, Sony,
I did
Microsoft.
not know about that.
It's a really big deal, at least in the Madden community. Because Fantasy Draft is the driving force. People like to draft with their friends. I really like football. I love Madden. Haven't played Madden the last 2 years because there hasn't been a Fantasy Draft.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're drunk.
I am not drunk. I'm a hardcore Madden player. And I don't know if you know, but a lot of people who don't play consoles because of Madden. Play consoles because of specific sports games. And that may not make sense to you, John, because I know you're very into the games, into the console guy. But the only reason why I own a console is specifically for RPGs, so I'm not going to knock you for liking a sports game. I am very niche in why I get a console.
There's only one sports game.
Yeah, well, there's two. There's FIFA World Cup, and there's Madden.
Oh, okay.
And Madden's just more popular. Well,
you know that,
what
do you call that game?
They're both football. How about that? They're both football games.
How about that NBA game? Is that like 2K Sports?
Those are good games, but I'm saying the big ones. The big ones are Madden. They have big tournaments for Madden. They have big tournaments for FIFA.
Okay, alright.
And the graphics on both are amazing.
I can't argue against that.
It's what people wait for all year long. They play Madden, football season's over, they wait for the new Madden. But that's just me. But you were going to say something, John. Was it going to be about, the playing games while you're downloading or sharing games or the wireless Some things they have at
I
PS4.
guess that's why Steam is good, is because the community. But I didn't like how when you buy a game, like, do you also want to buy this game and this game and this game for only $2? And it's like, I don't have time to be playing like 50 games.
That's the thing, John. You hit it right on the head. It seems like Steam cheapens games. Like, you buy a game to just fill into your Steam library, but do you actually play them? No. A lot of people just buy them and just keep them in their Steam library like I do, and I never get to them. And they just feel like a cheap thing that I can spend a couple minutes on, but...
Let me clarify this
There's
point.
no lasting effect of fun in these games.
Are you saying that Steam chips away at the souls of games? Is that what you're saying on this podcast? Are you claiming that Steam just reaches into a game's soul and just starts hacking away at it?
It's just something about the mass market on Steam that kind of kills the game for me. It's something like a physical copy is always nice to have on the console. You know, you have to actually put the disc in, you know, plug it in and sit down. For Steam, it's like, what do I want to play today? And then you end up playing nothing. End up playing like the same 3 games on Steam.
Let's step back from games. I think we finished our game portion. And let's take this a step further. Now, you're saying the plethora of games, the cheapness of the games, the accessibility of the games, you know, how it's there but you're not going to use it. Do you guys think that's sort of how the world is? You have news, you have, like, Viacom and their TV programming. Like, sometimes too much just makes it all seem blah. I don't know.
I think we hit a major point here, Kea, that, yes, I think that's something.
Wow. I think we
Trust
just unlocked... Yeah, we just unlocked the secrets of the world, I think.
Oh.
Bury your gold.
That's what we do here
End
on
days
the
are coming.
TSK
Apocalypse.
podcast. Yes. Okay, guys.
Guys, too deep.
Dude, we're going too deep. Pull back.
So now we'll just talk a little bit more. This will be general now. Anything you guys want to talk about from this week? Any experiences you had? Funny stories? Angry stories? Anything at all?
Oh, we were supposed to start this podcast about 4 hours ago.
Oh!
You bastards called in for work.
Yeah, sorry. I got stuck at work till 8. Oh, not 8, but 7.
Kea, way to take the bullet there.
I was here at 8:05, and I was waiting for John. I was like, John,
I feel betrayed by Judas over here.
9 o'clock? 9 o'clock rolls by. Where's John? 9:30? Oh, no.
I told you I was working.
You didn't tell me anything.
Yeah,
You never call, you never write.
Sorry, baby.
You don't even go on Facebook anymore. I don't even know you.
Yeah, I'm blocked on your Facebook.
Oh
You know,
God.
that brings something up, actually. You know, what's worse than not being somebody's friend on Facebook, like getting denied their friend request? Getting their friend request accepted and then getting removed from their friends list.
Or is that like I know it's a thing,
You
but
can
like...
remove people from your friends list.
But it's not like there's a flashing sign like, this guy removed you, right?
Oh, no, it's subtle. That's the part of it that really stings.
Does that happen to you?
That happened to me once, but that was like a girl I went on a blind date with, and then we were like Facebook friends afterwards, and then like a couple months later I went back just to kind of see how she was doing, and I was blocked. And I was like, burn.
It doesn't even count.
Well, everybody likes me. I know. Now everyone's gonna go out there and check
You know
all
what?
their
I'm
Facebook
unblocking
people.
you. Right? I mean, I am removing you. Boom. Then you'll know how it really feels.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's something... I used to be like incredibly addicted to Facebook, and then I just stopped, and then I just quit it cold turkey. And I guess that's kind of a bad thing, because now I don't know like when stuff is happening.
Plus, turkey sucks when it's cold.
Yeah, you gotta get back into the book.
It can be book face for Halloween.
Yeah.
No, that's been done.
I know. Office. Love the Office. Anything else happened to you guys interesting this last week? Or uninteresting? We'll humor you.
Don't put me on the spot, man. I haven't done anything all week.
something.
I've been working.
Now,
burritos
in case you don't know, John works some part time in a drive-thru here. There's got to be something. I mean, did somebody prank you? Did he just like fall dead on his wheel and just like go forward? You're just like, oh my god, he's dead.
Hey, look, nothing cool happens at Taco Bell.
Oh.
You know, there's something about a local
decide.
Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the employees, but
I I have too many local to be honest.
But, it's just mainly the food, but Taco Bell is addicting, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not a big fan of Taco Bell, but I do enjoy the occasional chicken quesadilla, steak quesadilla from Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Did you say quesadilla?
No, I said quesadilla.
Okay.
You know, you never get tired of that white lady saying quesadilla. That's something I miss.
One time I had an older black lady call it a quesadilla.
Oh god, yes! Quesadilla, that's the best. I remember that. Oh my god.
Because where we live in Southern California, there's a very large Hispanic population. People take Spanish in school. There's really good Mexican food all about. And people still go to Taco Bell. No offense to Taco Bell. People still go to Taco Bell. And you would just think that they would have some of the staple Spanish-influenced English words down. But...
Quesadilla, man. Oh, that's
You know what? That's probably I'm not going to say biggest pet peeve, but you would be surprised in how many things are said just wrong. And you just have to, let them say it.
No, it's so true. Oh my god.
It's like, okay, I'll get you one quesadilla, no problem.
You don't want to be like, actually it's quesadilla? Or can I have, because they'll say an enchilada.
It's
We don't have
quesadilla, asshole, not quesadilla.
I had a long day.
It's actually pronounced tomato. Huh?
Can I have one enchilada? And I know what they mean. They want an enchilada, but we don't have enchiladas. It's so one enchilada? And then they're like, no, an enchilada. It's fucking.
You don't have no goddamn enchiladas. Come on.
I did not know this about the Taco Bell menu. If I want enchilada, I'm not going to Taco Bell now. I'll end up with an enchilada.
Similar.
Similar.
Oh, no. This is a thing. It's just not being clarified. Because now they have fruitistas, and a lot of the fruitistas are renamed from the sodas. Okay. So we have pink lemonade, and we have Baja Blast Mountain Dew. And there are also fruitistas. So people just they'll go through the drive and they're like, yeah, I want a large Baja Blast. And they're like, okay. And you get them the drink because they didn't specify. And they're like, yeah, I want a large Baja Blast fruitista. I'm like, you motherfucker. You were in you had one job.
Are you telling me I need to get you a whole different drink? You know how many cars are behind you?
Dude, at the window, too. I hate window orders.
Oh, man. Alright, I'll leave it with this, though. And it's a little, not anecdote, but it's a story I heard this week. And when you brought up fruit drinks, it reminded me of Fanta.
Oh.
And, you guys may have heard it sometime this week, too, but somebody had brought it back to the attention that before World War II, Coca-Cola had a lot of factories in Germany. And the German people love their Coca-Cola, as most people love Coca-Cola everywhere. Yeah, so I'm a Pepsi man myself. I took the Pepsi challenge, I chose Pepsi, but Coca-Cola nonetheless. And when World War II kicked in, Germany did not have a lot of the natural ingredients that you need to make Coca-Cola. So they had the factories, they had the workers, they had no, things to make Coke. And the German people wanted their soft drinks. So somebody in the factory decided to come up with something using only products available in Germany. And they made Fanta. And that Fanta beverage was sold all through World War II and eventually marketed. And when Coca-Cola came back to Germany after the war, they took possession of Fanta and it spread all over the world. And most people know Fanta from, those Don't You Wanna commercials that make you think it's from, Mexico or South America or something. And really, it's from Germany.
So are you telling me that Nazis drank Fanta?
I'm saying it's possible that Nazis drink Fanta.
Are you saying that people that drink Fanta are Nazis?
No, I'm not saying. And the people who were in the German factories were not Nazis. They were regular employees, and they refused to join the official Nazi party, for the most part. As the story goes. I don't know for sure.
I mean, are you saying that if Germany made Fanta, their motto should be, don't you? I'm not an expert.
Don't you? But, yes.
Not an expert or anything.
Wow.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
It's inspired.
Wow.
Maybe it was and somebody heard it wrong.
Someone get Fanta on the phone.
It's Coca-Cola now, sir. Coca-Cola owns Fanta.
Someone get the Coca-Cola president on the phone.
Mr. Coca-Cola, guest speaker next week. I'll work on it. I'll send a bunch of letters.
Yes, I'll leave you with that little tidbit. It's been great having you all, listeners. We love every single one of you except that one guy.
No, don't. No.
There's only one guy.
We love that one guy too.
Okay, we love him too.
Hey, it doesn't.
Thank you for joining us for our first episode here on the Tsk Podcast. We are a weekly/bi-weekly sort of weekly distribution, and we'll be bringing you a lot of the topics that we hear, interesting little tidbits here and there, and the best games you should be playing.
Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us. We're multiple.
Email us, tskpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes. Alright. Signing off, this is Kaya.
This is John.
Zeus.
See you.
We're signing off.
No, CEO is the end.
Beam me up, Scotty.
No, CEO was... No, you can't have the end.
No, cut it. It doesn't matter what we say at the end.
Oh, alright.
Yeah.
Bye.